Hey there, thanks so much for tuning in again to another 3-tip bit. Today I've got my great friend Sarah Henning on the conversation. So Sarah, I'm going to go ahead and just jump right in and have you introduce yourself. Tell us who you are, what you do, and who you do it for.
So I'm Sarah Henning. I'm the owner of Shiftive Coaching and Consulting. The goal of Shiftive is to work with businesses to help them build out talent acquisition strategies, retention strategies, training and development programs to find and retain top talent. And on the flip side, we also work with people who are that in that talent pool, working with them on their career searches, internship searches, career development. So we serve both sides of the business and personal side of sort of the job search market.
Okay, awesome. So good. So, Sarah, you've been doing this for a while, and I know you are just a deep well of knowledge. So, you know the game plan, 3 tips. So, what are those 3 tips that you'd like to share with our listeners today?
Yeah, so the first one that I want to share with people is really about a thing that I think gets lost in the career search and talent acquisition sort of march, I'll call it. And one of the things that we forget is that we are all on the same team. And so I want people to really be thinking about, and it's really applicable right now with everything that's going on, is thinking about how empathetic you can be to the people you're encountering professionally if you're interviewing for jobs or if you're the one doing the interview. So I'll give you an example really quickly. Imagine and being on spring break, your senior year, you're at Senior Frogs Cosmel. If you're in my age group, you'll get that reference. And you get an email on your phone saying you can't come back to campus and you won't be finishing your senior year here. That's what happened to most of the college students across our country right now. And for me, that breaks my heart for them because one of my favorite times of college was the last semester. And I had all these milestones I was looking forward to with friends and wrapping up the school year, right? On the flip side, if you're a college student or you're currently working or you're in the job seeker category, imagine being able to go to work every day, see people that you know and really like, and have a space where you could be clearly concentrated and clearly focused on driving together towards the common business model. And then all of a sudden you get an email on a Saturday morning saying the office is going to be open from 8 to 4. Come get all of your stuff. We don't know when you'll be able to come back. And we're moving all of our platforms on virtually. And then you get an email 20 minutes later from your kid's school saying, by the way, you're going to teach your kids for the next 2 weeks up to a year. We all have a lot going on and our worlds got disrupted. And so now I think it's really easy for us to be empathetic of each other and realize like, it's just another person across the computer right now, right? But this will be true when we return to normal as well, right? It's just another person across the desk from me, and we're all in this world, in this life together. The recruiter wants you as a person in an interview to be doing really, really well. They want you to be talented. They want you to shine, and for the person going through the interview, that company is really looking for, hoping you're that top talent, right? So that empathy, that's really important to remember. Like, you're not going against each other, you're in it together, right? And so I think it's kind of important to remember that, not only as we're working in new formats and new ways by moving everything virtually, but also once things return to normal, like, it's just another human being across the desk or across the computer screen from you. The other thing that I like to talk to clients about all the time is that whenever something changes or is new or is different, take that anxiety and turn it into action. So I think that a really important thing for us to think about is we can sit and worry, or we can turn worry into something productive, right? So a couple quick hits that are really good for right now as we're separated from each other, and these are just good tips going forward, but I think one of the things that I'm experiencing with clients right now as I'm talking to them is they're starting to feel lonely already if they've been out of the office for 3 days and they're used to seeing people, or they're starting to feel disconnected from classmates or even professors because their routine is so disrupted. So what I would say is, to the extent you can, put structure and system around that and turn that anxiety into action. So here's a quick challenge that I have for people, because I think your network is going to be really important as you go forward. We'll talk about that more in a second. it's really simple. It's got a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 format. So start by practicing 5 minutes of gratitude. The cool thing about our brains, we can't be grateful and worried at the same time. So if you can spend 5 minutes thinking about things or people or experiences that you're grateful for, even better if you can write them down, that's a really good start to get away from anxiety or worry. Then after that, reach out. So make connections with 4 people that are in your professional network to see how they're doing, to see how they can, how you might be able to help them. Or if you have a favor and you need help, ask them and see if they can help you out. Make 4 connections that way with people who weren't already on your schedule for the workday. Then I'd encourage you to make sure you make time to talk to 3 friends. There's nothing better for my soul than getting to chat with my friends, the people who know me and love me really well. And so reaching out to them on a regular basis, especially when I'm worried or anxious, they don't even have to know about that. I can kind of talk to them about anything and they make me feel good and happy. So something that's a really great thing to do every single day. The other thing that I would do is encourage you to make a minimum of 2 new connections on LinkedIn. I think our social networks and our professional networks are going to become even more important for us in ways we don't even understand yet in the upcoming months. We already know how powerful they can be. I think we're going to see the power of that even more. And so I would be encouraging people, if they're not making new connections daily, to be making new connections on LinkedIn on a regular basis. And then the last thing that I would encourage you to do is think of one kind thing you can do for someone else. So we're beginning and ending that system or that process with gratitude and extending ourselves to others. And we're working on 3 other ways that really fill us up and can connect with other people that are also beneficial to us. So again, take that anxiety, turn it into action. The last thing that I just want to expand on a little bit more is that I've said it twice already, but I'm going to spend a little bit more time on it. Our networks of people, whether they be professional or personal, are so, so powerful. We don't know the ways that people are going to benefit us or save us or encourage us or add value to our lives, right? And right now, what's interesting is I think people understand that that even more because we're feeling a little bit disconnected. So I would encourage folks to be finding ways really consistently to be cultivating those networks and those relationships. I gave you a couple quick examples, but there's innumerable more that I'm seeing popping up. I think actually in times of disruption and having to find new ways to work, there's going to be even more interesting ways to connect. My current favorite one, if you don't use it, is the app Marco Polo. It's basically sending video text messages. And yes, it is different than sending a video over text message, primarily because it takes up less space on your phone. But also because there's kind of just other things you can do with it as well. It has more of a pingy effect, I think. But I love it. I was skeptical of it beforehand, but I love it because I realize how much is missed contextually when it's in writing versus when it's somebody face to face and I can see their face and hear their voice. The fun thing about it is you can still do group texts too. So not only can you send messages back and forth, you can also connect with people as groups. And I've had super productive brainstorming sessions on Marco Polo, and I've had just the silliest, most ridiculous conversations with my friends who bring me joy. And kind of everything in between. So that's one app in particular that's a great way to stay connected with folks and make sure it's a tool you can use to be cultivating that network.
I love that. Okay, so I've learned very quickly in these conversations that I have to take notes because you all are just giving me so much information and giving our listeners so much information. So the first note that I took, first tip, was having empathy, right? And just like you said, Sarah, it's not empathy in these times, it's empathy always, right? So I love that. Great reminder. I loved anxiety into action. That's also very memorable. And using your 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 plan and that gratitude sandwich, right? All these little nuggets are really great, really memorable. And I love that you, in the tip of taking action, you actually gave us an action plan. So thank you for that. And then also just how critical our networks are, right? I mean, you're singing to my LinkedIn heart when we think about the people who we're connecting with and being really intentional, right? And connecting with purpose. So super helpful, great reminders. Love the Marco Polo app. I'm actually a newbie me on it as well, and it is a hoot and it is super fun. So thanks for giving that tool a plug as well. So Sarah, how can people find you and your team? What are the platforms we can reach out to you on?
So I'm on LinkedIn. I'd love to connect with people there, as well as we have a growing Instagram presence at Shiftive. And that is the word shift with IVE afterwards. When you start a business now, you have to be creative to get a URL. So I made up a word, and that Shiftive is what it is. But Shiftive, you can reach us on Instagram. And then our website is www.shiftive.com, where you can find more information about the kind of work that we do around coaching, consulting, and speaking and corporate training.
Wonderful. Awesome. Okay. So we're going to end on a positive note. So Sarah, what is, I know there are lots of things that make you super happy, but if you could share with us just one thing that makes you happy, what would that be?
Oh man, there really are a lot of things. And I've been thinking about this one and the one that I want to share, but I am not a mom, so I love being Aunt Sarah. And it is the best of all the worlds because I basically get to live and be like a kid, and I have none of the worry or consequence I have to follow up with in the end. I get to play and have fun. One of the things that I am starting to implement while we are all disconnected and I see my friends, disconnected physically to stay connected, as I see my friends taking care of their kids at home. So I'm starting silly stories with Sarah once a week where they can, so I'm super excited for that to see what that's going to turn into, because I kind of think it might be something we do every week going forward, no matter what. But yeah, I love being Auntie Sarah. And then I have a just gorgeous, wonderful nephew who if you're on my social media, you'll see his way, and he's just the best. He's the best. So that's something that I love that sticks out in my mind more than anything.
Awesome. So good. Well, thanks again, Sarah, for joining us. And thank you for listening in on another conversation of the 3-Tip Bit. Tune in to next time. And thanks again for your support and listening. See you soon.